All right, hello again. Welcome to the Sicstringcanvas podcast. And I'm your host, Dan Chun. And I am here with a wonderful guest, I guess a content creator, an entertainer, streamer, someone whom I've been a fan of for a few years now, Kieran Fallon.
Hello.
Kieran, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being on here. So Kieran, I've been a fan of yours since I guess 2018 when you along with a few other friends joined one of my favorite YouTube stars, James Rolfe, also known as the Angry Video Game Nerd, in a series called Rental Reviews.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved that series, and I think a lot of other people did. But it's really funny, but it just sort of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But again, it was a wonderful thing. But I just wanted to, so I guess start off this interview by telling you how I got to know you and your content and all that. So for the viewers, can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah. I'm Kieran. I edit. I write episodes for Angry Nerd with James. I play the games with him. I'm pretty much like the new Mike, I guess, in a way. I've been for a while. I've been working with since about 2016. Actually, a little bit earlier. I started working with Cinemassacre on the Mortal Kombat Mythologies episode. That was the first thing I ever worked on with them. I did the fatalities in the beginning, and that was my like gateway in to working with them, I guess. And I was always a Philadelphia guy. I went to school in Philly, and I kind of just stayed in the indie scene, working on anything I could. Anybody that needed, animation or anything like that, I would just do it. Eventually they gave me a shot. I started writing during the wrestling episode. They needed somebody who knew wrestling, and I was one of the only people at the time who I've never missed an episode of Raw or SmackDown for something like 8 straight years or something like that. So they brought me in to help with it, and we worked for a couple years, and then James was trying to make a weekly show that wouldn't be too edit heavy, would just kind of be off the cuff kind of stuff. And we were over his house for a 4th of July party, and he showed it. That was the first time he showed us the basement where the video store set was. And we were like, why don't we do something with this? Like, why don't we just sit around and talk about movies we like we liked watching, and why don't we just do that? And we just wanted to do something that was really just kind of a relaxed, almost like, when you would go to a movie store and there would be those guys standing at the counter talking about whatever movies and everything, just shooting the shit. And that's pretty much how it became a thing.
So it was, so it wasn't just James's idea. It was pretty much all of yours. It was as a result of just hanging out and just kind of coming up with this idea all by yourselves together.
Yeah, we had gone to a couple in the beginning of this, we went to because we would drive to cons, and we were usually James's ride, so we would just be in the car for hours sometimes, just talking about anything, music, movies, video games, things like that. And he was just like, why don't we just do this? Why don't we just have a bunch of us sitting around, we have a couple beers or something, and we just have a fun time? And it kind of just shows us sitting around. It was kind of weird because I had never really been in front of camera. I did my own stream a while back, but it was very amateur, you would say. I used to oh my God, my stream nowadays, my stream is like it's still ridiculous sometimes, but man, my stream was a shit show back in like 2015. I used to just get hammered on stream. That was like all I did.
That's really, oh, I never knew that because Twitch hasn't been around for as, how long has Twitch been around for? How long have you been streaming for?
I think I've been on Twitch since 2015.
Is it been that long?
Yeah, it was something else before, but when I got on, it was Twitch. Let me see. I wonder if I can bring up like my like when how long I've been a member since. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a join date or something I could look at, but I've been streaming on Twitch for a long time. I used to stream and I had maybe 7 people watching, and a lot of them are my mods now. They're just for people I met that happened to come into my stream at the time. Yeah, I can't find I can't find it right away, but I think I've been streaming since 2015. Oh, you know what? I know a way I could, if I look at my clips, I know I have some old clips. I could at least see where they're from. Oh, highlights. Okay. I think I have some old highlights. 6 years ago.
6 years.
Yeah. So one of my oldest clips, because this is from a stream years and years ago, 6 years ago. So I guess that's that would be 2015. Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah. I want to say congratulations on your Twitch channel growing steadily.
Thank you.
I could see that firsthand because I'm a big fan, and
thank you for being there. You've been at like every one of my streams recently too.
Yeah, the thing about and that's so fun. It's so interesting how entertainment has changed so much because I can speak for myself as a fan that one of the reasons why I love watching James's YouTube videos, and I think I speak for a lot of other fans, is because, well, maybe not all of them, but I think James and I are about the same age, and everything he talks about, everything that's been nostalgic for him, I pretty much grew up watching. So you almost feel like, oh, if I had known him back then, I may have been his friend.
Yeah.
And then you watch the rental reviews, and you feel the same way about like you guys, and then now with Twitch, it's an opportunity for the host such as yourself to interact with people like me.
Yeah, it's much different than just a passive watching videos.
Exactly. And I think being active on the comments, I know some people say one of the reasons why they like your channel is because you interact with the fans as much as you can. And I can only imagine how hard it is to actually play a certain game and interact. I know you appreciate your fans. We can all tell, but sometimes I'm behind the camera's like, wow, like he's juggling like 2 things at once. It must be.
I that was always when I started streaming. I mean, in 2015, I was streaming to 7 people. Justin was coming in sometimes. Marshall, who streams with me a lot, he was also either streaming with me, and we, oh my God, me and him just used to get trashed on stream. That was all we did, because Twitch was like the Wild West at that time. You couldn't get in trouble for like anything. I got in trouble on YouTube. When YouTube started the streaming service, I got in trouble my first week streaming on YouTube because I streamed UFC 2, a VHS tape of it, and I got banned everywhere in the world by the UFC.
Oh my goodness.
They banned my whole channel for almost a full year. So I had to go back to Twitch.
Wow.
So ever since then, I just stopped. I just went back to Twitch and I never went really back. But yeah, that was like, I always, it was when I started and there were 7 people, everybody was always talking. So I was constantly reading the chat because someone was always saying something, and I just always kept that. But then as it grows, it does get harder and harder. And I do ignore some people because sometimes people say dumb stuff. And I just don't, acknowledge it if they do that. But I try to get to everybody that's participating and is watching, because it means a lot to me that they're watching, but I know it means a lot to most people that someone is paying attention to what they're saying. And they care about your opinions and things like that. And I want to, if someone asks me a question that I like talking, to be honest, is the thing too. It's just it's nice to have somebody interested in what you want to say, I guess. It feels good.
Yeah, because I'm fairly new to this sort of community. But going in, I thought, there's always a chance it could be potentially hostile depending on where it is. But your channel seems pretty safe. Like you feel safe saying what you want to say, and it's a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I think I think that really I think that's one of the things that a lot of people find interesting because, again, people know you from rental reviews and they're getting to know you as a person and obviously like you. And you don't seem to be you don't seem very shy telling your life story while you're
no, I mean, when you go from being, a few years back, I was, no one knew who the hell I was. I was, I was making cartoons, but I was getting like 100 views on my YouTube and things like that. I was never really trying to make it big on YouTube. I just wanted to have a job working on videos and animation. So I was doing everything more as like a demo reel or portfolio piece rather than trying to get a viral video out there. And sometimes it was also just stuff that I wanted to make my friends laugh. And the only way to put it out there was on YouTube. And I went from having only a few hundred people watching my stuff or only a few people to all of a sudden now overnight almost like there's 100,000 people who watch a video I'm in a day. And then now they all know who I am, kind of thing. And that's pretty weird at first. I will say, like, I didn't handle it well at all at first. I took every single thing everybody said about me to heart. And I had some harsh stuff hit into me. Like people are relentless online. When you can be mean to someone and you're behind a screen and you see them, but they can't ever see you, people will do whatever they want. And I think like it took me a while to finally get over that and to kind of just be like, who gives a shit kind of thing. Like,
yeah, that's really interesting because I think maybe was it Bill Murray who said, you don't want to be famous, you just want to be rich or something. Did you hear that quote?
I don't know. I don't
I
think
think it was like someone, I don't know,
makes
like
sense though.
yeah, like someone asked him, or I think it was a Bill Murray quote. Like someone said, "It must be great that you're rich and famous," and he said, get rich first and then come back and tell me if you want to be famous.
Yeah.
Are you talking more about like YouTube comments and stuff?
It's everything. I mean, like last year, for instance, when I stopped streaming, I had a straight up like meltdown of just when COVID hit, it really brought a lot of the worst out of some people who were already shut-ins that sat in online all day just talking a bunch of shit got worse and worse. And then when you're a shut-in now, because I'm used to, dude, I go out all the time. I'm used to going to the bar, going to places all the time, conventions. I would go to like 2 or 3 conventions a month depending, and then I would be going on every Sunday. Me and my buddies would go to Barcade up in Philly, so I was always out and everything. And now all of a sudden when I'm inside all day, I'm sitting on Twitter and you really start seeing just these people coming at you. And I was streaming regularly because I needed something to do. I just needed some way to kind of interact with people because I wasn't seeing even like Marshall. Like I didn't see Marshall for like, I didn't see Justin, I didn't see anybody at the office. And going from seeing everybody every day and hanging out and joking around to all of a sudden now you're inside. And when you're editing, like you're just doing that. I'm at my computer all day and then I'm watching TV or I'm at this, so I'm not interacting with people. So then I was getting just constant people were just kind of gang up. And I didn't have a whole lot of people watching my stream last year either, but I was having a problem with people coming in and just trashing on it the entire time. People did some pretty like rotten stuff. And eventually I just backed away. I just was like, I'm not streaming anymore. I'm not going to go on Twitter. I'm not going, I canned everybody from my Facebook. I just got it only to friends and family. And then I closed all my DMs. And then I just stepped back and kind of put everything into perspective, and then came back to it when I was more like, I was like, I'm not ready for this yet. You really, it's a whole mental thing. You really need to be ready for it. It's something that when you're put from being just, I was Kieran, I had my group of friends that knew me or whatever, and then all of a sudden you have thousands of people who know who you are over a very short period of time, and of those thousands of people, a few of them hate you, and they hate you really much.
Wow.
It's weird, especially you don't know any of these people. They don't know you, so they don't know anything about me or anything like that, but they hate me. And you don't know, it's hard to deal with, I never really had people who hated me since like middle school or something like that, and then I get out and I'm 30 something, and then you don't know how to deal with it. It's really weird. But I took a step back, I got my head right, I came back into it, I kind of worked on myself a lot more, put everything into perspective, and then just kind of came back, and everything's been great since then. Nothing really bothers me anymore. I think they kind of got me to the point where I got so mad and I got so furious about everything that I just exploded. And then I saw how dumb it was and how dumb I felt afterwards. And then I just kind of felt embarrassed about it for a minute. And I was like, oh shit. Like oh my God. And then all I could think of was like, oh my God, I wrote a whole bunch of stuff on Twitter. I made a huge rant. Oh my God, it's out there. And even if you delete it, they screenshot it and they put it everywhere and they go, haha, LOL. And then it's like, you just have to kind of go, okay, I get it. It's cringe. What are you going to do?
So that's how you dealt with being more well-known, I guess. Just realizing, getting to a point where you explode and just realizing, okay, this is pretty dumb. Is that how you would advise other people if they were dealing with me?
I guess take the advice of maybe don't get to the point where you explode like I did. I mean, that's the thing, like hindsight is 2020 and everything, like what people say, but I wish I didn't explode. But at the same time, now I feel it's almost like when you're really, I guess, like when you're really hungover and you just need to throw up. So you go and it's the morning and you barf into the toilet, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I feel 100%,
Oh man. But you were mentioning something about how COVID has really affected everybody. I think because I actually started this podcast at the beginning of the pandemic.
Okay.
Shared the story a few times, but it's basically I've been always wanting to do a podcast. I didn't even know what I was going to do it on, and by the time the lockdown happened, I had just enough equipment to do it. I'm like, okay, let me do it, and it was great. And I don't know if it was me actually creating content myself or just maybe just surrounding myself with content creators or talking to them. But I don't know. I've always wanted to know how, for everybody else, like how the pandemic has affected, because the pandemic has affected every industry, including entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess my question is like, how has it affected you as an entertainer or as a, as someone on Cinemassacre, someone working, like, how's it, like, what's your journey been like?
In the beginning, it was hard because we weren't, James is very, we haven't even seen James since the pandemic started. We see him, but we haven't been at, like, I've been to his house, but to drop things off.
Okay.
He's very protective of his family. So we don't we don't take any risks with him or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I have, at this point, I've gotten my first shot. So of the vaccine. Okay. Yeah, I am. I'm halfway there. I need to get the other one, but he is still like, we haven't really been over there. We're getting to the point where everything, like, that's the whole thing is we're trying to get everybody vaccinated and everything so we could start working on it again. But the thing is, he hasn't been he hasn't really left his house or anything. He's been kind of at home. They've gone like a few places, but they stay in because, you know, he has his 2 kids, his wife. He's
Right.
very nervous about anything like that. And we've had people close to us that have either had it or have passed. And it's been pretty rough. So
Oh
it's
my
like
goodness.
we've been lucky. I haven't gotten it that I know of. I got really sick last year after a convention, after MagFest, and I thought it was just like the flu or whatever, but it was like one of those things where I was sick for like 2 straight weeks. I was like raging fever. I couldn't breathe. I was all messed up and everything. And I didn't know if it was that, but everybody, you know, at the time they didn't even have a way to test you for it or anything like that. Like nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So they just told me like, oh, I think you got the flu or whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever. But other than that, we've all been very lucky at the office and everything. We stayed away from each other. We, you know, I have Marshall over, but that's because literally I'm either at home and he's at home, and we've seen like each other. That's it. Like I've seen maybe 6 or 7 people throughout this whole thing, and that's all I've been around. So we've been keeping very careful about it. But it was one of those things where working with him, with James, we've been doing everything over Skype. So it was super hard. We had to push a lot of things off. We had a big episode planned for last year that we had to completely just we had there was an episode that we were supposed to do. We ended up doing the Countdown Vampires episode, and we had to just make that one because we had to put an episode out. And the episode we were supposed to do, just we had to can it completely because we couldn't shoot it. We had everything ready for it. Everything was going okay, but then it just wasn't going to happen. And a lot of the things we had planned for last year had to either be pushed off, and we had to kind of just put out what we can because, you know, we want to make stuff and everything like that. But it's super hard too when you're working over Skype.
Yeah.
James has us on his computer, and then we have James on our computer, so we're able to like see what's going on, help like, you know, tell him like what's going on with the games. I can't usually, me and James will sit and play the game, but we couldn't do that. We had to have it where he plays the game at his house, I play the game at my house. We compare notes. I send him my footage, he sends me his footage, things like that. But it's been really rough this year. Like we had so many like big things the previous years with like the Macaulay Culkin episode and Gilbert Gottfried, and then this year everything got pushed off. And then we canned rental reviews because it was just we couldn't keep it going. It was so hard to keep it going where it was like the 2 of us at the office sitting 6 feet apart, and then James on Skype. And then, you know, you'd start a conversation and James would say something because he's on a delay on Skype. And then we're like, oh, wait, what was that? And it was like we were cutting out so many of us, just it just wasn't working. And we are going back to a more commentary kind of thing soon. We have some stuff in the works. I guess by the time this episode comes out, it'll already be a thing. But we are working on some stuff for weekly things because things are kind of returning back to normal. Everything's like you know, kind of getting there. And I guess as of now, Too Many Games, which is the convention Screenwave runs, and Too Many Games is up in Philadelphia. I don't know where are you from?
I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, okay, Toronto.
Yeah.
So in Philly we have Too Many Games is one of the bigger conventions in the area. It's been going on for like over 10 years, I think. And that's actually where I met James the first time, was at this convention. And I got him to sign my Sega Genesis back in like 2012. And we canceled last year, which was a huge bummer because it's my favorite thing of the year. I love going to that convention. It's 3 days.
I hear that convention name all the time. Like you guys talk about it, like you guys like throw it in Twitch. I'm like, what's Too Many Games? I've seen the advertisements, but now I'm coming out. It's like one of your
Too Many Games is like my Christmas, I guess, every year. I've been going since 2012, and it's in the summertime. It's in June, and it's 3-day convention. It's at the Oaks, the Greater Philadelphia Convention Center at the Oaks, it's called. and it's outside Philadelphia, about 45 minutes, and it's just a big convention center. But it's got the hotel is down the street from it, so it's like you just can walk to the convention.
Oh, one of those.
There's a bar, there's a lot of fun stuff. It's just and it's there's always after parties and all these things, and it's summertime, so you're just walking around all night and all day, just hanging out with people you don't really get to see very often. It's like a big fun thing. And then we canceled it last year, which was like super bummer. But this year, as of now, it's happening, but it's not happening until October. We're hoping by that time, because apparently by that time, most people who can get or who will also get a vaccine should be vaccinated by that point. So it's like kind of one of those things where if there's a lot of people I know that aren't going to get the vaccine, won't comment on that, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, look, if you're not going to get the vaccine, that's kind of on you, and it's you're not going to affect the people who got it.
Yeah.
So if anything, if you go to a convention and you didn't get it, it's kind of you're at your own risk by this point. Especially like they say, like, I guess in America we're going to have enough vaccines for everyone in America by May, they're saying, or something like that. So hopefully in October we can get too many games going. MagFest can happen next year, and we can start going back to places and everything, because I've been stuck in Philadelphia for a year. I don't ever stay in Philadelphia for a full fucking year. I'm usually everywhere.
Oh man, the day when we can actually go back to these conventions and gatherings would be oh my goodness. Can you imagine how wonderful it's going to be?
I'm so sad because, man, I went to MagFest, and I've been going to MagFest every year since 2014. And this year I went to MagFest and I was like, you know what? I didn't have a great time. Like I felt like kind of crappy. It was so crowded. I just was like annoyed with it. I was like, I don't think I'm going to go to MagFest next year. I'm not really feeling it anymore. And then COVID hit. And then I was like, oh my God, I'd lick a toilet seat to go back to MagFest any day. Just, to sit in the hotel room and sit in the atrium and hear people screaming the Colossus yell and all that. Oh my God, I miss going to conventions. I in 2019, I went to a convention every other week. I was in Boston for PAX East. I was in Seattle for PAX West. I was at Portland Retro Gaming. I was at a bunch of little conventions in the area. I was at MagFest, Too Many Games, any convention that was going on in the area, I was there. And then 2020, nothing. It's the most I've ever been in one place. It was crazy.
Listen, man, I mean, if it ever gets to the point where you guys can actually travel outside the US and come to Toronto for a convention, I'll be there. We can have what do you call it? I have it. I actually bought it. I actually bought it after watching that episode, the Dan Aykroyd vodka.
Oh, the Crystal Skull. Yeah.
It's actually pretty smooth, like you said in the
Yeah, there was, oh my God, at MagFest, the last MagFest I was at. No, it was like a couple MagFests ago. I was smashed. And some guy came up to me, and it was the first year we did rental reviews, so it was 2018.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, "Hey man, I saw your review and on rental reviews," or whenever we did it that year. I don't remember what year we did that review where we actually had the crystals. Oh, it was the Crystal Skull episode.
The Indiana Jones.
Yeah. I think that was the first year we did it, but we were there, and this guy wanted me to sign his Crystal Skull vodka, but I was so hammered that I just opened it and took like a swig of it. And he was like, "No!" And then I was like, "What? Like, what was it?" Like, I was so messed up. It was like really bad. I used to get really, I'm a lot better than I am now, or I was back then, but I was kind of I lived that rock star. I was kind of like Motley Crue kind of shit.
Oh, sweet.
I used to do bad things.
I mean, you look back and you have funny stories to tell. Oh man! So now I know why rental reviews was canceled. It's because of COVID-19. It just, for me,
my beard just spit up all over the place right now.
You got to go clean it up.
No, I mean, I got to get a paper towel.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, it didn't get anything vital. It just got my mouse pad, which is probably already soaked in beer as it is at this point in time.
I don't see you
Fine.
downing that many as many beers when you're streaming.
No, I try to keep it classy when I'm streaming. But when I do things like this, I get a little nervous. So I like to, like when we do rental reviews, I usually, I down a few beers. It's fun.
um, when I was really sad when I found out that you guys were ending rental reviews. I'm glad to hear that you guys are bringing it somewhat back, like something similar.
Yeah, like James lives pretty far from us, so for us to get to James's house, takes just the drive takes a good hour and a half. Then setting up equipment, getting our notes all ready and everything, setting up the shots and everything, took another couple hours. And by the time we get into work at 10, we saddle up. Usually when we were leaving for that, we would get there earlier, but we would saddle up, put everything into the car, drive out. By the time we get to there where it's noon, then we set up, then it's 1:30. And then by the time we filming each episode, sometimes they go on like because we're sitting there, the whole episode was us shooting the shit. So how that can go.
Yeah.
It might go over time, especially if you're talking about something like Commando or Street Fighter, and you just want to say everything you want to say, and you're trying to remember everything too. But then at the same time, like around the corner, James has a bar in his basement. So we're all sitting there drinking and stuff. And sometimes we're sitting around just like kind of talking about everything. And then we have to get back into it. It just took forever. And then we have to get all that footage back, put it onto the hard drives and everything like that, and then start editing them almost right away, depending on what was going on. And Tony does like a lot of the edits like that. He would do rental reviews, and I was doing retail reviews mostly when we were doing those at the time.
Right.
And then I was also editing AVGN. And if, I think I was talking about this on the stream at one point, but like say you're rendering a video, you render out a 45-minute video on a computer. It takes about an hour, sometimes less, maybe like about an hour to 55 minutes. Then you got to watch the video. You find one mistake, because the second you find that mistake, if you found it, all those 100,000 people that are going to watch that video on Friday, one of them's going to find it. And then you're going to feel like a big dickhead, and you can't have that. So you have to then, like it could be anything, just one frame of black. You see it, like it flashes real quick because you didn't put two clips close enough together or whatever. You on the timeline, you just see that frame of just nothing. Oh. And then you have to go, you got to re-render it again. You got to re-render it. An hour goes by, then you got to watch it again. The episode's 30 something minutes. So then you're sitting there doing that. It took so much time. Now we have it super streamlined, but also too, we were very I was very green. I'm not an editor. I'm an animator. I learned how to edit later. And this is my first real editing gig. So I was learning as I went. I'm 10 times better now than I was when I started in 2016. Now I'm insane at what I do, especially too, the way I was listening to everybody online and just taking all the criticism so to heart. Mm-hmm. It was just making it where it wasn't fun anymore, because I'm sitting there well, some idiot's going to fucking talk shit on me anyway tomorrow. Who gives a shit? They're going to make fun of me or whatever, or call me fat or whatever. And I just started losing it, where I was just I just wanted to regress. I didn't want to be on camera anymore and things like that. And I think that was getting to everybody in a way. It was hard to get the show going. And also then COVID hit, and that was even, that just killed everybody.
Wow. But I mean, I can totally appreciate the art of editing, because it's so not easy to do. It could be I mean, like you could tear your hair out. I mean, I didn't know that. You mentioned in passing before that you did edit, but you're saying now that you're not primarily an editor. You're more of an animator.
Yeah.
Tony's in them. What about Tony? Is he more the editor?
Tony's mostly a film guy. He was a cameraman. And what happened was like when we started working on what we were working on, like when I got out of school, I went to school for animation. Um, when I got out of school, it was 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So we were a year and a half into the recession, and there were no animation jobs, but there were editor jobs. So I learned how to edit because I was like, well, I know how to, I can draw a character and animate them walking through a scene, and then I got to draw the background. But editing is kind of like animating without having to animate. It's like you have the video there, you just got to make it cohesive and make it flow and everything. But I was still learning the programs. If anything, Justin is like the real editor. Usually what happens is the way we do like an episode is I will make the rough cut. I'll put everything down. I'll put the game footage down, the footage of James and everything. Cause usually, when we're filming it, I know where everything is. I keep really good notes. And then Justin goes in and Justin has like with a fine tooth comb, like fixes little things here. He hears like the sound. If there's a pop somewhere that like no one in the world would hear, but Justin, he'll find it and he'll fix it and all that stuff. So it's like the three of us really work together to get an episode out. And that I mean, like me, Justin, and James. Tony actually right now is like he's working on his own channel.
Right.
I guess. I don't know, like I'm guessing by June, if this episode's coming out in June, like it's going to be more public knowledge. But right now, Tony actually, the last one he kind of worked on was actually an episode that's coming out tomorrow from today. So he's working on Hack the Movies now, and he hasn't been working on Cinemassacre. It's been me, Justin, and James.
Okay.
What was that?
I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was. I know he's focusing on his own channel, but I didn't know he was taking a break from Cinemassacre.
Yeah. So pretty much what it is Tony was editing only. He wasn't really scripting or playing games or anything like that. It was usually me and Justin. And Tony's been working on his channel, and then now that channel is like that's his job basically. So that's why like there's been a lot more, like we're in the episodes and things like that. James is going to be in an episode actually of Talk About Tape soon too.
Oh.
And I guess by the time June happens, that episode will have been out for months, but now it's pretty much me, Justin, and James are working on Cinemassacre, and Tony is working on Hack the Movies. And then Hack the Movies is kind of like we're all just like we're personalities. We don't edit it, but Tony only works on that right now. Now it's like I'm editing. Me and Justin are editing most of the Nerd. James edits certain episodes. The thing is, like, it's such a weird collaboration, especially with COVID, because we had to shoot certain things out of order. In the new episode that's coming out, like we have stuff we shot with James, and then stuff that other people shot that we have into the episode that we scripted and we storyboarded with James, and they filmed in Wisconsin. And then it's part of this episode. It's going to be really ridiculous. It's actually a really funny episode. I was watching it back today, but the thing is, because of us being in different states, the guys sent us the footage and the render messed up. So we had to tell the guy, hey, your render messed up. But the guy was already asleep because he's been working on it for like 48 straight hours. So now we're working with him and another person to just get the episode out. So it's coming out tomorrow morning. It was supposed to come out today, but it's kind of one of those things where we're like, meh. Like we were, it's like if it comes out on Saturday, whatever. If it doesn't come out on Friday, it's fine. As long as the episode's good, it's going to do the same either way.
That's true. Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, yeah, like you said, by the time this episode comes out, I would have long seen it. But yeah, I'm really glad to hear that you guys, I mean, despite everything going on, you guys are still active. You guys still seem, I mean, I just assume that you guys are coworkers slash friends? Did you guys start off as coworkers first, or?
I knew Justin. Justin knew James forever. Like he's known
Okay.
James since like James wasn't AVGN. He knew James back when he was just a student at UArts in Philadelphia.
So he must have been friends with Mike back then too. Then I guess, right?
He did. Justin didn't know Mike. He met Mike later, but he met
Okay.
James because they were in film stuff.
I
Mike was also an animator. What's funny is actually because so I went to the Art Institute, which is the school around the corner from James's school.
Okay.
And I started school when James and Mike were graduating. So I saw their stuff online when I was halfway through college. Like it was like I started in 2006 and I started watching AVGN in 2000 like I think it was 2007. It was when the Ghostbusters episode came out. It was the first one I ever saw. And I think that was 2007.
Well, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, that was the first one I ever watched. And then but it wasn't new. The newest episode at the time was the Texas Chainsaw one, which I think might have been like a little bit after, or it was like it was like a few episodes after. So I had like a backlog. So I started watching them, and then I saw like he was writing like, yeah, I went to UArts, and I was like, holy shit, that's the school around the corner. Like this guy went to school here, and now I'm going to school here, and maybe I could make it one day. But so I got into that whole thing. I used to do fan art for not Screenwave, Screw Attack.
Mhm.
I would draw pictures, and I was featured actually in their very first episode of G1 Spotlight, which was a big deal to me at the time. I drew art of the Bionic Commando, and I did that, and then I drew Contra art and all these things. I was just drawing like video game art. And then I went to Wizard World, which was my first convention I ever went to. And I had been watching, Screw Attack programming all the time. This was like YouTube was a thing, but nobody was really watching it yet.
Mhm.
There were viral videos. There was like Chocolate Rain and What in the Butt was like a big thing, and Numa and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I went to Wizard World, and I was huge into Screw Attack. I was huge into game trailers. I was watching all the stuff all the time. I was always watching like between the Nostalgia Critic and the Nerd and like all those guys. Captain S, which is another one from back then. And I'm walking around, and I ran into Justin and Newt, and they were filming Underbelly, which I don't know if you've ever seen Underbelly, but that's the series that Justin was working on for Screw Attack a long time ago. This was like 2009, 2010. And I was graduating college that weekend, but the whole thing was our college was giving us free passes to Wizard World if we would work the Art Institute table. So I was like, yeah, and they were like, sign up for your time. So I signed up for like 8:00 on Friday. So pretty much like I had to work from 8 to 8:30 on Friday, but I got a weekend badge to Wizard World, which is a huge convention in Philly. And I got to go for the full weekend. So it was my first comic book convention or anything. And I ran into them, and I was like, holy shit, you guys are Underbelly. I've seen you. You're Justin Silverman. And then we exchanged our business cards, because I had my Kieran Fallon Flash Animator business card. I gave it to him, and then we kind of stayed in contact for a while. And then in 2012, I worked a bunch of shit jobs. I didn't get anywhere. And I was like, you know what? I'm going back to school. I'm going to spend hundreds of thousands of more dollars to get a master's degree. And I never got the master's degree. But what happened was I ended up deciding to make a public access show in Philadelphia. And through the public access show, I started going to conventions, because the thing was, people would hear like, oh, you're from TV. Here's a press badge to our convention. So they were handing them out to me like crazy. So I went to too many games, and I ran into Justin again. Justin was like, oh, I heard you're doing public access. I was like, yeah. And then we started hanging out. We started talking about doing stuff together. And then ever since then, I started working with Justin. And then Justin started working at Screenwave, and I was like, hey, please get me a job. I'm broke. I am unemployed. I can animate and shit, but I can't get a job. Like I can't find a job in Philadelphia, and I am working at like the worst possible places. So they finally brought me in. I started working with him. I met James for real at this point. I had met him at conventions, but this was like the first time I ever like hung out with him. And then we just started going places. They would send us to whatever convention here. And they would, we drove to Buffalo one time. And that was like where, that was like the first time I would ever spent more than maybe like an hour with James. And we picked him up and we drove all the way to Buffalo, New York for a convention. And we just had this like weird road trip where we all kind of met each other. And then we all became like really good friends because the whole entire trip and the convention was just so weird. And we just spent the entire time eating buffalo wings and drinking beer together and stuff. And it was like a really good time. And then, then we did rental reviews after that. But that's pretty much how it started. It was, we started off, I knew Justin and I was friends with Justin for years. I never met James. And I was super nervous too, because James was a guy I looked up to for, since my college days. And now I'm in a car with him for 6 hours to Buffalo. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to say to this guy. I also don't want to seem like a weirdo the entire time I'm on this car ride. And he gets in the car and it's like, oh, hey guys, how's it going? Hey, like how James is, like he's so, when you meet him in real life, he's super quiet. He's not, he's very like, just like, oh, hey, like that's,
yeah,
he always
so
is.
Funny because like I hear stories about James because like obviously we know him as the nerd, but when you actually like interact, well not interact, but like hear when you see him on YouTube talking as James, he's so the opposite. He just seems really relaxed and cool, nice person.
Yep.
And you know how they say never meet your heroes, right? It doesn't seem to be the case with James. It almost seems like what you see with him is what you get.
No, yeah, James is a great guy.
Yeah.
He's really like going out, we've gone, there's been so many times where we've just gone out and grabbed drinks or whatever. And it's fun, man.
Yeah.
We went drinking with Macaulay Culkin one day.
What was that like? Because he was also like another hero of mine too when I was growing up. And then I just see on my YouTube like notification like AVG and Macaulay Culkin. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was a really weird happening. I guess so. So the guy who works with Macaulay Culkin was friends with James in college.
Okay.
And Macaulay Culkin's a fan of Angry Video Game. And he was messaging James. And then James got back to him and was like, you want to do an episode? Like, and he was like, please, let's do. And this was before he blew up still. So Macaulay Culkin wasn't like, now he's going to be on what's it called, American Horror Story or whatever, and he's been in so many things since then now.
Right.
And this we met him at a good time because now he he's I haven't talked to him since those days. Once in a while we get like little messages from him and stuff like that, but he's so busy now that like we kind of got him at a really good time where no one was really talking about him, and then all of a sudden it exploded. But so that was a weird situation because we picked him up from the airport and I'm in the car and I'm just like, we're about to pick up Macaulay Culkin from an airport. And we get there and he's outside like smoking a cigarette, and he comes in and he's like, oh, hey, how's it going? I'm Macaulay Culkin. Like he was like the coolest dude ever the second you meet him. And then, we're like, hey, we're going to go, I guess, get some dinner. Are you cool with that? And he's like, yeah, let's go. So we got some dinner and everything. And he's just talking to it. Like we were all sitting around, like we already knew each other for years. It was really cool. And then, as we're like eating, people are coming up and they're like, are you Macaulay Culkin? And he's like, no, I am not. I am not Macaulay Culkin. I don't know why you would think that. And then they're like, oh, haha. And then people were like ordering drinks to our table. Like at one point they brought over like whiskey shots for everyone at the table. And they're like, we wanted to bring over some shots from Macaulay Culkin. And I was like, what the hell? Like, so we're shooting whiskey with Macaulay Culkin. Like we're Mac Culkin as he wanted to, he was
He
like,
goes
call
by
me
Mac,
Mac.
right?
Yeah, Mac. But it's like when you're hanging out, it's like you say Macaulay Culkin. I don't know
Yeah.
why. But and then so we're hanging out. I went outside. At the time I used to vape. So he was like, I'm gonna go out for a cigarette. So I'm outside with him and we're sitting outside. And then people were walking through the town, just walking up, are like, are you Macaulay Culkin? And he's like, yes, I'm Macaulay Culkin. And they're like, oh, well, who are you? And I was like, oh, I'm Kieran. And they're like, Kieran Culkin? And I was like, no, I'm a different Kieran. I'm not Macaulay Culkin's brother. Like it was it was pretty weird. And then we ended up spending 3 magical days with Macaulay Culkin. And we brought it, we stayed at the hotel. We were staying at a hotel at the time because we were shooting at James's house. So we didn't want to have to keep driving back and forth because we knew it was going to be like several days. So we stayed at a hotel for like a few days, and we'd wake up, we'd go pick up Macaulay Culkin, and we'd get up early and everything. And then we would spend the nights. At night, we would just go out to bars with him and stuff. It was like the weirdest thing. And like, it was really fun. And going from, like I said earlier, like being Kieran and being some guy who I was working wherever, whatever jobs for years. And then all of a sudden now I'm shooting whiskey with Macaulay Culkin and James Rolfe.
Yeah.
With my buddies. Like it was awesome. Like it was great times. It
I think
still is, like, it's still good. But
yeah, because because there's something about, because as long as I remember, as long as I can remember YouTube, I remember AVGN. Like I don't know how long he's actually been creating content on YouTube for, but I mean, it feels like it's been forever, and I think it's safe to say that he's pretty much like the godfather of retro gaming right now at this point.
Yeah. I think that I mean, I'm sure there were people playing retro games before he was doing the Angry Video Game Nerd on YouTube. And really the videos they were made in 2004. They just didn't surface on the internet until 2006.
Yeah.
But no one had an impact like he did. I mean, I remember I used to watch his videos on my laptop while I was going to sleep. Like I would just put them on, and me and my roommates were sitting and watching them and everything. Like I remember just going on the backlog too of just coming in, about a year into it and knowing that he had made already like 14 or 15 episodes before the one I saw. I had a whole bunch to watch, and I just used to keep watching them. I actually still have them. I have the Screw Attack DVDs that I bought when they came out. I bought each one as they came out. Like I was a huge fan. It's weird working on it now and knowing him now, because now I don't even see James as the nerd in a way. It's like I know him, and James and Mike and knowing them in real life is kind of weird now, because now when I watch the old episodes, it's almost like I'm watching something else.
Yeah.
And it's honestly like took a long time to get to where I was. I said this in my stream once, but I graduated in 2010, and I had to swallow bullshit for 8 years, no, I started in 2016. I think was when I really started working on it. 2016, 2017, and then 2018, 2019 was when we were like more in the full swing.
Mhm.
But yeah, it took so that's the thing too, is when I started at Screenwave, I wasn't a writer, editor, or anything. I was actually, me and my friend were fixing up the new office. I was ripping carpet up and vacuuming glass out of corners, because I was just like, anything I can do to get in.
Yeah.
I was like, please, I need a job, like anything. And they were like, we need somebody to come in and help renovate the building and do stuff until we can get people to put the flooring down. And they were like, I was like, yo, me and my friend will do it for we'll work a full week for $1,000 each, and we will, move desks, we'll do everything you need, we'll vacuum out carpet, all that stuff. And they were like, cool, you got it. So they paid me $1,000, which was more money than I had ever seen at once for years. And then, like Ryan, who is the president of Screenwave, was just like, don't you know how to edit and all this stuff? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, why are you vacuuming glass out of our carpet then? And I was like, well, because I don't have a job, dude. I was like, I do this for myself. Like, and they hired me originally for a marketing job. They were like, because I knew everybody. So they were like, come on in, like, we'll give you a job. Like, it was a freelance originally I was doing freelance, and I was just kind of getting paid per what I did. And then I was getting a monthly rate. And then I worked there for a few months, and they were like, you want a job, dude? And that's when it happened.
Well, they took good care of you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, I don't know, my job. I love what I do. I love every day.
Yeah.
It's been weird because I'm so used to, like, the jobs I used to have are so, like, everyone was worse than the last, or either that, or it was a cool job, but I barely got paid any money. And then now I'm actually working in what I want to do. And it took a long time. It takes years. You got to work at something for years, unless you're one of those people that just gets it handed to you. But, that's kind of sucks, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad, because again, you mentioned a little bit about this in your stream, but hearing it again, like just one-on-one, knowing that you finally, because as far as I know, like, you stream on Twitch, and you pretty much you get to play video games for a living in that sense. That's pretty cool. But then your other job, your main job, which is at Screenwave, you really, really love, and like you said, it doesn't even feel like a job. So, that sort of thing doesn't happen for everybody. Just having a job that you really love and you can actually make a living doing. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's the thing is, like, there's a lot of things that get put in your way, like, there's a lot of people that'll tell you things. And I mean, I had all these people, and even my family, like, some people just like, oh, you're an artist, but you're living in your friend's back room or whatever. You're like doing this, like, what kind of professional artist, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and not everybody wants the same thing everybody else wants,
That's right.
I know everybody, like, sits there and they sit there and they think they want to be like a movie star, or they want to do this, but nobody really realizes how hard certain things are. Like, not for anything, but like professional athletes, for instance, like a guy who plays professional football. Someone sits there and goes, oh, that guy gets to sit there and play football all the time. And it's like, have you ever recently played football? Like, just go out and play a full game of football. Play one with a group of people, and tackle football, by the way.
Yeah, not touch.
Play a game. You know what? Actually, no. Play a game of flag football and see how you feel after 2 hours of playing flag football. And then on top of that, imagine that you're now, because you're going to feel like shit. I guarantee it. If you're like my age and you're playing that, even if I was like 20, when I would play football with my friends on Thanksgiving, I felt like garbage the next day. I felt like I got the shit kicked out of me.
Yeah.
Play a whole game of football, then play a whole game of football, tackle football against a bunch of 6'4", 300-something pound muscle machines,
and who are the best in the country too.
and tell me that it's easy after that. Tell me that those guys don't deserve a nice percentage of those ticket prices, because that's the way it is. Like, it takes a long time. Like, when I got out of college, I thought I was the best animator editor there was, and I thought I deserved every single job that was available to me. And it took me years to realize like, holy shit, I sucked. I would not hire my college self for any job
I
as
remember
opposed to where I'm at now.
you said that yesterday at the stream, because you said that the the experience that you went through over those years humbled you.
Yeah.
And it made you a better person, because you became more well-grounded, and you understood where you were at. And it wasn't until then you finally made it, or got to a place where you felt satisfied and you can just keep going up, right? Like, hence your Twitch streams and all that. Because I feel like, as much as people know you from the guy in rental reviews, and you don't seem to mind it, you're also branching out on your own in a sense with the Twitch stream. So people are coming to see you, just you.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel, do you think that's just like YouTube was the thing 20 years ago? Do you think Twitch is sort of reaching that point where it's a new platform for other people to kind of emerge? If that makes sense.
I get like 75 people come out, and not 75 people are talking all the time, but I get enough people where I kind of look at it like, I'm one of those guys where I play like a small club. I come out with my acoustic guitar and I play a small club or whatever. I'm cool with that. Like, I'm good. It's what I like to do. But then I work a normal job during the day. I do that kind of thing.
You got a few hype trains going on in your streams.
That's crazy too. That also makes me feel like really weird sometimes, because I don't like, not like I don't feel like I deserve it. I don't want to be like, I don't deserve it. No, but it's like, I'm like, holy shit, like, people really respond to the stream and people really like watching it. And that's why I do it now, is because honestly, like, I started it back in February. I was like, all right, I'm going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back into it. I'm ready. I'm going to do it again. I'm ready. And I didn't expect for it to be as big as it is now. I thought I was going to be streaming back to 30 people like I was. And now it's like, it's been consistent, like 75 people each time. There's been, I mean, you sub and gift sub, and there's numerous people who are constantly just giving. And it's like, it makes me keep going. Like, I really like doing it because I can keep doing it. It's not something that's a strain in any way. It's just something I like doing, and I like to have fun with it. I'm trying to like also come up with a lot more stuff with whether it be like new commercials, badges, and new rewards that I'm like working on. I'm always like, it's like become my fun hobby to do now. I've been really putting a lot of effort into it. And also, like, Marshall being there has been a lot of fun, because me and him used to just sit around and play games all the time. And for a while, like, I was like, come on over, let's stream. And finally now we can, because we're all like good and everything. And it's been a lot of fun doing that. I just really like streaming. It's just been something I've always liked to do. And I'm glad people enjoy it as much as I enjoy bringing the show. And new people are coming in all the time. I'm trying to keep it fresh and new and everything. I mean, I'm playing beat Resident Evil 2 last night.
Yeah.
Gonna go to Resident Evil 3. Gonna go to Director's Cut.
Oh.
I'm thinking, because I don't see many people playing Director's Cut. I see a lot of people playing the remake. So I figured I'm going to do the OG trilogy and then do the remake trilogy. And then maybe Survivor, and then maybe Metal Gear. I was thinking about Metal Gear Solid, playing Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because I like those games.
I really enjoy your Resident Evil streams, just because it's very nostalgic for me. And I don't know. I always, for me, I'm always about the nostalgia. So I enjoy the old school games.
Yeah.
But I think, I guess what I was also going to ask was just like, I don't know, do you think maybe the pandemic has kind of helped the Twitch streams to kind of increase a little bit, or like maybe from your own personal experience or in general?
In the beginning, dude, like, no joke. In the beginning of this pandemic, I was depressed. I was, I know you watched me sit here and drink 3 beers, but I used to drink like 20 in a sitting. And I would just sit in front of the TV and fucking be sad and be like, I can't go anywhere. Oh my God, this is it. This is the apocalypse. I'm dead. Like that's the way it's going to go. And I didn't know how things were going to go. And I was streaming, but I was really just doing it more to like quiet my brain in a way.
Yeah.
Like I felt horrible. I was going through some real shit.
Mm.
And I didn't know what to do. I really didn't. And I don't think until like honestly in May, actually, like right when I had that whole like thing on Twitter and stuff, everything snapped. And it was like a switch shut off, like turned on in my head. And I went, what, why am I doing this? Like I'm fucking up. Like right now, the thing is like, there's people, the way I thought about it is like, hey, also too, all the shit that was going on in the world,
Yeah.
all the messed up stuff, everything, the riot, there was the protests and riots and people getting killed by cops and shit like that. And then on top of that, there's a pandemic. And I'm sitting here in my apartment that I have, and I'm sitting here wallowing in dumb shit, and I'm not using the time properly. There's people that can't use the time because they're dead, and they can't. That's it. And I'm alive and I'm well and I can do anything I want. And I decided to I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make the most of what's going on, and I'm going to try to come out a different person. I one of the things was I started working out like crazy. I dropped 60 pounds from June until December. I was 270 and now I'm down to 208. And I was like, for the long, I mean, I was like just like sitting there like, bleh, didn't do anything. And that was like the problem was like, I think that so much stuff was getting to certain people and everyone was just sitting on their phones, just fighting with each other online constantly. No one was doing anything. And the thing is, the way I looked at it was like, we had like, it was almost like 2020 was a giant pause button. And we had time. You could, all the things that you didn't have time to do because of work or because of whatever was going on in your life, if you weren't going anywhere, you had the time to do that.
Yep. Like this podcast. Like,
yeah,
that's exactly why I did it. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like there were certain people, there were people that, that sat around and didn't do anything and got worse. There were people that just let everything hit them. And the thing is like, there's so many, it really put things into perspective because what was really going on in my life? People were making fun of me online. That's it. Like, yeah, that sucks, but it's so dumb. There's people literally in hospitals that are listening to their family members dying, and people that are just all over the world that are going through so much shit. And I'm sitting here crying on Twitter because someone was mean to me. And I just felt like the biggest bitch in the world. And then I just was like, you know what, fuck it. I got to take things into my own hands, and I got to really work on myself. And I really, that's why I stepped back. I got off of social media. I stopped listening to everyone else but myself. And I tried to do my best to get into shape. And eventually, like, I mean, when it was like New Year's and I was looking at myself and I was like, holy shit. Like, I didn't take a picture of myself from June until January. I didn't put anything on myself online. I didn't do anything like that because I was like, I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to, I was in this like bubble of just doing what I needed to do. It's kind of like, I don't know if you ever read, there's a comic of Batman called Venom, where Batman gets addicted to venom, which is Bane.
That one, no.
It's the, the steroid Bane takes.
Yeah.
So it's where they introduced it. And Batman, what happens is he watches, he can't save a kid. So the kid drowns. So Batman blames himself for he's like, oh my God, if only I was stronger, I could have saved this kid because there's a rock he couldn't push out. So this guy's like, hey man, if you take venom, you could have moved that rock. So Batman starts injecting venom and he's like lifting weights and shit. And he's like, I'm fucking huge. And then he realizes it's like messing him up. So he locks himself in the Batcave for a month straight. And he comes out all naked and shit. And he's bearded up and he's like, I'm better, Alfred. I'm gonna it's like a real anti-drug Batman comic, but it's pretty funny at the same time. But he comes out of it and he's like, yeah, I'm regular Batman again. And he goes and he fights everybody and he kicks their ass and shit like that. So that's like what I felt like. Felt like I was like taking in venom constantly. I was just injecting venom directly into my veins by looking at Twitter constantly. And then I came out, I locked myself into my bat cave, which is my apartment. And then I came out naked and shit, I guess. I don't know. There you go. so that's like what happened.
Yeah, I didn't well until today I didn't know that part about you, how you really had to seclude yourself from social media. But because I heard bits and pieces of I think Crystal mentioned in passing in one of her streams, like, oh, I'm really happy for Kieran that he's losing weight. I didn't think much of him. I'm like, okay, yeah, trying to better himself. But you did a complete 180. You're taking care of health. You're taking care of yourself mentally. You have a different mindset. You're just taking control.
Yeah. No,
I'm glad to hear that.
I started doing and I recommend it like everybody, DDP yoga. If I don't know if have you ever heard of it?
I'm in Dallas Page.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been so I did that since June 1st.
Oh, nice.
I started on the beginner. I got through intermediate, and I'm doing intermediate a second time before I go to advanced.
Nice.
And 60 pounds. I lost it healthily. You're gonna get, that's the thing. Like, I get people like, you lost 60 pounds. That's not healthy. It's like, yeah, it isn't.
It is
7 months or whatever. Yeah, 60 pounds is pretty healthy. It's like 8 pounds a month. That's totally normal if you're trying to lose weight. Like, I wasn't, I changed my diet. I stopped eating so much. I stopped drinking a ton. And then I actually, now I do full plant-based. I don't eat any meat. I don't eat any eggs, any cheese. Everything I eat is 100% plant-based.
Wow.
It started out, I did a juice cleanse.
I've done that.
Yeah, I tried one and I loved it. And then I saw that, like, throughout the week, I was only taking in 1,300 calories. And I was like, but I feel fine. And then I looked it up. Like, I looked up, my body mass index and my height and all that stuff. And I looked up how to lose weight. And they say, like, put yourself at a deficit because, 3,500 calories a day is 1 pound of body weight. So if you go, so 2,500 is just maintaining. So if you knock it down to 1,500, you're in a deficit now of 1,000 calories. So the thing was, I started looking it up, and then I was like, okay, well, 1,500 calories, that doesn't sound like a whole lot. But when you really look at what you're eating during a day, so for instance, you could either eat a double cheeseburger from McDonald's, which is like, I think close to 500 calories.
Yeah.
Or you could eat like chicken breast, which is like, like a full size big chicken breast at the time, which is only like 160. And then you can have 2 of those instead of 1 double cheeseburger. So it's like, I just changed what I was eating. So I constantly was eating just chicken and salad. And then I was eating, I wouldn't eat any meat for certain days, and I would just eat eggs. I would eat 4 eggs a day. And then I would have a salad for dinner, or I would make stir fry with like just vegetables, and that's it. And then eventually I kind of was like, I think I could go full vegan. Like I could straight up, I don't think I need meat anymore. Like I've gotten good at replacing proteins and things like that. And like, I don't think I need meat anymore. And also, like, I don't want to get all weird about it, but I am like against the whole factory farming, and I'm against like animal herding and stuff like that. I don't like it. I felt like an asshole eating meat, and I don't want to make anybody feel weird about eating meat. I know that's weird, but I felt bad myself.
I understand the whole sentiment. Like, of course, I mean, like, I'm not going to fault anyone for not eating meat. It's a living, it's weird. Like, yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I know if I ever went to a slaughterhouse, I probably would never eat meat again. We live in a society where we have the luxury of not seeing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just think a lot of people don't know where they get their food from because it's easy to not know. And when you
Yeah.
really know where you get it from, you
No,
start
absolutely.
kind of going, and especially now, like it's so much easier now than it was. Like I tried going vegan a few years ago and I was super poor. So that was not happening. It was really hard to be a vegan and be poor, and also it be 2014 or 2013. It was 2013. And there's no options. Nowadays, like you can go get a Whopper and a vegan Whopper. I can go to Burger King and get a Whopper that is vegan and eat it, and it's totally good.
I'm wondering if we have that in Canada.
Do you guys have the Impossible Whopper?
You know what? You know the funny thing is, I've seen a lot of Burger Kings shut down, at least in Toronto, over the past several years.
Oh,
I'm
really?
really surprised. Like I'm thinking I can only think of one location.
Wow.
I don't know why. I don't know. They're great. I love their burger. I loved eating at their. I love their burgers, but then just uh, they just started disappearing. And the McDonald's portions have gotten smaller in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Ever since I noticed the portions has gotten smaller up here. Um, at least after that movie came out, you remember Super Size Me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
With
and then all of
Morgan
a sudden,
Spurlock. Yeah.
yeah, and then like my friend ordered a filet o fish, and I ordered a Big Mac, and I noticed that the box the same size. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It's
No,
kind of
that's a
different up here.
so I don't know. That's the thing too, is I was do you know you ever watch the YouTuber Matt McMuscles?
He's a friend of yours, is he?
Yeah, yeah.
You mentioned
He
I
does
don't know.
What Happened. He does like a few things. He also, I don't know if you ever saw like a video back in the day called Street Fighter Stupidity. It's the Street Fighter cartoon, just all the bad moments of that. If you've never seen it, you got to look it up. It's so funny.
It's on YouTube. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. But he was telling me about all that stuff, like because he when he comes to America for conventions, he buys up cereal like crazy, and he's like he was telling me like, yeah, like in Canada we don't have these cereals, we don't have like he's like there's like there was like Sour Patch Kids cereal that he was like buying up like crazy. And I was like, dude, that sounds disgusting. And he's like, I don't care. We don't get it in Canada. Like we only get like certain cereals in Canada and stuff. And I was like, wow, holy shit. Like, I guess in America, they just don't care about what chemicals they put in their food. they just, they
You
just
guys
let us
have a
eat it.
lot of stuff that we don't have.
Yeah.
Uh, some good, some bad, but there's the only claim to fame that we have is probably ketchup chips, which are
And
still.
good wrestlers.
Yes, that's right. That's
Oh,
right.
and Moosehead. Well, we get that here, but man, that's a
Oh,
good
you're a
beer.
Moosehead fan?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Moosehead's probably like my favorite like lager there is.
Oh, sweet.
It's
And Crystal Skull.
yeah, Dan Aykroyd.
There you go.
Comedians, wrestlers, Crystal Skull, Moosehead, Letterkenny. You guys have Letterkenny?
No, what's that?
Oh, it's a really good comedy. We get it here now, but it takes place in Letterkenny, which I don't know where it is in Canada.
I never heard
But
of it.
do you know Rerez? Shane
No.
Shane from Rerez. He's another Canadian. I know a lot of Canadian
You seem
YouTubers.
to, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, your
like
favorite band is Canadian, Rush.
Rush. Oh,
Right.
so in my top three, and when I mean top three, I have like a triangle of favorite bands, but Rush is interchangeable with any three of those bands.
Yeah.
Rush is one of my
Grew up
favorite
in
bands of all
Ontario.
time. Really?
Yeah. So someone told me that Alex Lifeson went to my high school, which is like 20 minutes down from here. And
Holy
someone else
shit.
said that he just kind of went there for like a semester or two. He did some sort of mural. But if you go down here and close to our rival high school, you'll see like a park dedicated to him. So they might have gone to my school or the other school, but they grew up in this area.
How upset were you when Neil Peart passed?
Oh man, we have been losing. It was sad. It was sad.
Yeah.
But we're losing so many celebrities and singers like That's another thing. Another tie into your Twitch stream is like one of the things that one of the rewards that we can redeem is you play jump on your guitar.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so
Eddie
every
Van
time I
Halen.
played, I'm like Eddie Van Halen, rest in peace. Like it's so sad.
Yeah. Right. When I heard about Neil Peart, man, I was like, oh my God. I remember I was like driving to work and they talk about it on the radio. And like we have this rock station, MMR,
Yeah.
and they're one of like I don't know how huge they are, but like they seem like they're really big all throughout America. They're a Philadelphia station, but they have like every band that has ever played has played for MMR at one point.
Yeah.
And when Neil Peart died, they talked about it on there. And I remember just being like, oh my God, like I had to like stop for a minute. I was like, I can't. And I'm so mad because my sister saw Rush a few years ago at the I think it was the Spectrum or whatever it is, the Wells Fargo Spectrum in Philly. It's like one of the stadiums.
The stadium.
And I couldn't go to that show, and I didn't get to go. And I was like, I'll see them next time they come by. They never came back. I actually have a couple DVDs too. I have like the Rush's Time Machine and something else. The 30th anniversary or 40th anniversary, I think, DVD. But they're one of my favorite bands of all time. I honestly too, like I used to like on the train to work, I would just listen to album after album. Like I had them on my iPod Touch, or not iPod Touch, my iPod Nano.
Yeah.
I had all the Rush albums and I would just listen to each one in succession. Subdivision's probably like one of my favorite songs.
Oh, such a good band.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, it's sad. But anyways, but I don't know. I guess you're an Eddie Van Halen fan too? You know,
oh yeah, dude. I listen to really anything. Van Halen's another one. I love honestly too, I like Van Halen and I like Van Halen with Sammy Hagar. I never had like I'm not one of those guys like, I'm not a musical gatekeeper, you would say, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I like anything that I can listen to. Metal's probably one of my favorites.
Only, so.
Honestly, David Lee Roth's good and all, but like, man, it's kind of turned into a dick later on. He was like kind of a crazy person.
Well, I like the one thing I like about Sammy Hagar is like because he played guitar too, so he it was a different sound too. So
the Red Rocker.
There you go. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess we're almost out of time. But yeah, Kieran, I really want to thank you for taking the time to. I know you're pretty busy, especially because.
Not tonight. I'm just kind of sitting around. But this was cool, man. I could go for another hour.
I could. Would you be willing to do this another day, another time?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it then.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but for the time being, can you just let the listeners know about any upcoming? You sort of mentioned it earlier, but some upcoming projects that you're working on with either Cinemassacre that we can look forward to, or maybe on your Twitch stream.
So if I mean honestly, yeah, I Twitch Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I might be changing it to Friday though instead of Thursday.
Okay.
But Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, every week, unless I say it. I guess I have a Twitter channel. It's at Kieran. It's KI 5 E's and then RN. If you follow that, I always I post like whatever we're doing, whether it be the stream or new AVGN stuff or Rex Viper, which we will have more stuff for that too. I didn't really talk about Rex Viper at all. Damn it. Maybe next time.
Tell us a little bit about Rex Viper.
Well, Rex Viper. So Rex Viper is the band. It's filled with a whole bunch of talented musicians, and then me on the guitar.
Is that the one featured on Cinemassacre?
Yeah, that's so that started off with that actually started off the same day as Rental Reviews did. That was me and James jamming out in the basement because I play the drums a little bit, but I'm not that good. Okay. I play a whole bunch of instruments not well is like the whole thing. like I know like enough on things. Actually, I mean, if you want, here you go. I'll give you
Sweet. Nice.
a little guitar sample. But so oh, I fucked it up already. But that's a little Power of Love.
Yeah. Okay. No.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that actually. So again, we're filming this. We're filming this in March. About a week ago, James released. I guess it was like a music video cover of Power of Love,
Yeah.
and you were playing the guitar.
Yeah.
I loved it. I
Yeah,
love
no.
that song, and you guys did the Street Fighter one too.
Yeah, we did. So that one was the first song we did. We did Mighty Wings with the Ken's theme. And that all started because I showed James that I could play Ken's theme on the guitar. And he was like, you know, that song always sounded like Mighty Wings. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's weird. And then he's like, man, it would be cool if we did like a mashup of Mighty Wings and the Ken song. And then that's where it came from pretty much was that. And then originally we had this whole like idea where we were going to do like theatrical shit, but then COVID was the whole thing. Like we were going to do a stage show with like things going on and laser fights and all this crazy crap. And then we had James got the band together. It's actually dude, actually, to be honest, man, I feel bad. I don't know all their Twitter handles, but it's literally Adam Shub, who's actually, I know Adam really well. He's our bass player. He's also a square painter. He paints Nintendo and SNES and all these like pixelated paintings he does, like chip art or what is it? Pixel art.
Okay.
He paints that. And then James Ronald, who is Epic Game Music. The other James, who is in a band called Villainist. Let me look up their Twitters and things like that first before I say stuff, because I want to make sure I get it right. I also don't know the drummer that well. I never met most of these guys except for so the thing was basically we all got together online because we wanted to do this band, and James put forth the wheels because he knows everybody. So James Ronald, who is Epic Game Music, was the one. I know him. I've hung out with him at cons, and Adam I've hung out with cons all the time. But I never met James from the band Villainous, who's our lead singer, and Jeff is the drummer. Let me see. I'm gonna bring up Rex Viper because I want to make sure I get it right too, because I've only met these guys like through email. Literally, like,
so these aren't local artists, like they're all
actually what's it called, James Ronald, Epic Game Music, and Villainous James, the lead singer, I believe are they from Toronto? I think they're from Toronto, because
on the because in the music video I saw a clip of one of them behind the CN Tower.
Yeah,
so I remember seeing that. I'm like, are they Canadian? So
yeah,
like,
no, they are. Yeah.
Okay.
James, he comes out here all the time for conventions because of the. Oh, hey, sorry, I got somebody came through my door real quick.
Sorry.
But no, yeah, James is Canadian, and Villainous James, I believe, is Canadian as well. And Jeff, who plays drums. Let me make sure I'm getting this right, because I might be like completely wrong. Yeah, Jeff Warden plays drums. Instagram.com/Duke Pukem. I don't know where he is from. I think he well, it says New Jersey. So I guess he's from Jersey too, unless he was just in Jersey. But he's from around here. But what's it called? James Harding is from Villainous. He's our lead singer. Epic Game Music. He's from Toronto, I believe.
Okay.
Pretty sure he is. But I think that they live like close, like the lead singer and the guitar player. They're both, I believe they're both from Toronto.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. I'm shit with geography. I don't know where things are. Are you guys on the East Coast of Canada?
Yeah, we're on the East Coast. We're like Buffalo, New York is only like a 2 hour drive from here.
Okay, so is Montreal on the west?
No, Montreal is. Oh, I feel bad. It's Montreal is only like a 6 hour drive from Toronto.
Okay.
It's a little more. It's not. It's on the not on the west side. At least I don't think it is.
What's the west coast of Canada?
The very west,
Yeah.
like Vancouver,
Vancouver,
Calgary.
that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah, that's the city I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I always get confused because it's like I know like New York is on the east and LA is in the west, but when it comes to Canada, I always get Toronto and Vancouver and Montreal and everything mixed up. And because I'm going to be honest with you too, when I say I know New York is on the east and LA is on the west, I don't know what the hell is all in here. Like I know that there's like Ohio somewhere and like Texas is down here, I guess. But I don't know what the hell all these other places are. Montana, I don't know where the hell that is. I don't know where Colorado is. I don't know where North and South Dakota is. I just know they're on top of each other. You know, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm like really bad.
I got it too. You asked me where Montreal was, and I had to think about it too. So I don't. I mean, my geography is not the best either.
Yeah. No, it's like weird. In the middle, like you know the east and west, but then the middle is just like it's like a bunch of states and shit and provinces. What's going on?
I have a lot of family spread around the states. I've been around. I've been to like different parts of the of your country as well. So, but still, it is a big country.
And then I mean, like I Twitch all the time. I'm into the foreseeable future. I will be on Twitch at least 3 times a week.
So Tuesdays, Thursdays, maybe it might switch to Fridays and Saturdays at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time.
8:30 usually. Saturdays sometimes I go a little earlier. It all depends. Follow the Twitter, which is not below me in this video, but it's KI 5 RN Kieran. At Kieran is my Twitter handle, and I usually post when I'm in a stream and stuff like that there. And I'm gonna actually be working on a bunch of stuff for that too, and I'm gonna be working on getting a definite schedule printed, so when you come in, you won't see when I'm gonna stream hours before. It will be there. It's just sometimes stuff comes up, so I don't know if like if a Tuesday I might have to not stream or something, but I usually will move it if anything.
You're pretty consistent. I mean, like you would. I follow you on Twitter, and so usually you're consistent. But then
I canceled like a couple, but that was because like there were a few things that just came up, and I really couldn't get to it. But usually I will be on, because I like doing it, so it's fun for me. So it's like I try to do it.
But we enjoy watching. So
yeah, and thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, again. Congratulations on like your success and just bettering yourself. I look forward to all the future projects. I look forward to all the streams that you're going to be doing. I'll be watching your streams pretty consistently, as I've been doing. They're a lot of fun. I enjoy the camaraderie. Am I saying that? Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Sure.
Sorry, my phone is going off.
No problem.
Sorry, 1 second. It's my 10 o'clock alarm.
What do you say after your 10 o'clock?
Do you know where your children are?
Your children, yeah.
Oh my God, someone professional. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. It's all right. Yeah. So, so I'll just say congratulations, and I will see you on your next stream. Tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow. And actually, so I can talk about it, but hopefully Marshall and Justin should be there tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So it should be pretty fun. Yeah. I don't know what we're going to play. We might play 64 or something again, but they should both be there.
Yeah, well, hopefully by the time this stream comes out, your channel will have grown even more. I know you're saying you're fine with where you are, but it wouldn't hurt for it to grow just a little bit more. Right?
I mean, that would be cool too. But at the same time, like I like being able to talk to all you guys, and I like, that's what and I don't want it to get to a point where I can't do that. I guess is what
understandable.
Yeah.
As a fan, I appreciate you. I appreciate that. So yeah,
And
thanks.
thank you for watching. And I guess I will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, and yeah, hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime, I guess. Like you know, usually, like I said, I don't stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Friday's probably the best day for me, but like, yeah, let me know.
Cool.
I could probably do, you know, in a couple weeks or something like that.
Nice. All right, we'll do. We'll be in touch.
Cool.
All right. So this is was Kieran Fallon, our guest. He's Twitch, so you can check him out on Twitch. You could check him out on Cinemassacre. We'll have all the handles below. So thank you again, Kieran.
Yeah, have a good one, man.
All right, have a good one. All right,
it was fun.
See everyone
later.
Ah, yes, it is I, Beans, the Beans Boy, and I have been summoned here by
Sicstringcanvas
with the use of 25,000 bison dollars. I wish you many blessings on all of your endeavors, as well as all of the powers that the beans can bring to you. In the name of the Beans Boy, the Cat Dad, and the Holy Beans, I bless you.